Are you ready to do some heat foiling? I tell you what, the new heat pen for the Silhouette Cameo 5 is awesome. I have been playing with it for a couple of days now, and I can't wait to show you how great it really is and how to set it up. So let's jump into Silhouette Studio and get going. I want to walk you through how to use your heat pen with your Silhouette Cameo 5. So as soon as you load it into Carriage 2 and click it into place, you'll get this pop-up in Silhouette Studio that says your heat pen was detected. And it's asking you if you would like to preheat the pen now or later. And it says it's going to take about 3 minutes for it to preheat. And then the red light will come on with the heat pen, and that tells you that it's on. So I'm going to go ahead and say turn it on now. And then you can see here I'm already in my send panel, and we're going to come down to Carriage 2, and I've just got plain cardstock chosen, but you'll see there's no Carriage 2 settings for the foiling action. So what you need to do is define those settings. We're going to go to the More tab, and you can pick what setting you want. Typically, I like to use the 80-pound cardstock setting, and then we're going to edit this for the Cameo 5. And then here you'll see it's going to pull up Carriage 1. Here's all the options you can do with that. And then Carriage 2, right now it only has the option to sketch, and you'll see there's no other options for me to add to it. So what that means is I need to add my own user-defined material to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to call it the same thing. I'm going to do cardstock, 80-pound, and then I'm going to do heat pen. And that way I know these are my settings for my heat pen. And then choose the settings to edit. I'm going to choose this for paper. And then again, we're doing this for our Cameo 5. So the cartridge one, the carrier one, you can leave your cut settings however you like them. I like 4 for the blade depth, so I'm going to leave that alone, and I can hit save. And then for carrier 2, it automatically brings up the craft cut. Again, we have it set for paper up here. And then I'm going to hit add, and we're going to add the foil action. So now that I've added that foil action, you have to have something. So I can remove this craft cut, and now I'm going to use just the foil action. For me, I have found that a force of 3 when I'm filling in everything with the heat pen is plenty. I'm going to leave that speed of 5, 1 pass, and acceleration, I'm going to leave that as 1. And then I'm going to hit save. So now we can see we've got our settings set for our foil, and then I still have my settings set how I want them for my cutting. So we've got that all set up. So I can get rid of all this material. And now when I go to my Carriage 2, I need to change my material to my user defined, which will come all the way to the bottom. And I did the cardstock 80-pound heat pen. That's the one that I chose. And you can see now it's going to say the action is to auto foil, and it's going to use the heat pen, and it's already detected. This temperature gauge here, if you hover on it, it says now the heat pen is ready. If it wasn't quite ready yet, it would say the heat pen is heating up or warming or something to that effect. But if I don't want to use my heat pen right now, I can go ahead and turn that off. So now it says turn on the heat pen. So I can click this, and now it says heat pen is heating. So now it's going to heat up, and then when it's done heating up, it'll go back to hovering over that to say that the heat pen is ready. So once it's ready, after that 3-minute time frame, then you can go ahead and send your design to the machine, and you can do your I would do your foiling first and then come back and do your cutting. And another thing for your foiling, you want to have your design down towards the bottom of your page. That is going to make it so much easier for you to go ahead and add the foil. And then when you're done, remove the foil without moving the, without taking the mat out of the machine. And then going ahead and then doing your cut. So it's just like how we always test to make sure that our cut went through before we remove the mat. You want to do the same thing here. You want to keep the mat in your Cameo, pull the foil off, and then send it to cut. So you can see it's still heating over here. And then when it says it's ready, I can go ahead and load my media. So I'll show you another way to know. So here, it's going to run me through all the things that I want to do. And it's telling me that right now, so let's fix. So my carriage 1, right now, I want to say no cut. And then my carriage 2, I want to click and say foil. So now, when I go to my send panel, you can see it's telling me that my material, I can load my mat. The heat pen is already in there, and it says right here it's preheating. When it's done heating, this will also say ready. Notice it's not going to let me send until my heat pen is ready. So we'll wait for that to say ready, and I'll show you how then it'll let you hit send. All right, I went ahead and made it a little bit smaller, scooted it over so I've got room. So I'm going to show you when I lay down my foil, I'm going to lay it down kind of all through here. And I'm laying it so far to the edge so that I have room to tape down the corner here, here, over here, and over here. And I can do that without worrying that my design is going to end up in where that tape is laying. So I want to make sure everything's going to fit right. And then I'm just going to take these and move them a little bit. And then I went ahead and made an internal offset. So now let's go back to the send panel. And right now you can see I've got this inside line here as blue to foil, and I've got the outside line to cut. So I'm going to go ahead and this is all ready. And now when I hit send, you can see it's telling me to go ahead and load in my mat, load the heat pen into carrier 2, which we've already done, and then preheat the heat pen, and the heat pen is ready. So now I can send. So I'm just going to send the foil, and then when that's done, I'll come back and send the cut. You can see I have my foil set up here, and I went from the bottom, this top edge is at the 7-inch mark, and then so this is 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. I went ahead and scooted my design over so I have room on the edge there, and then it should cut. We're going to foil first, and when it's done foiling, then we'll remove the foil, and then we'll send it to cut. So we've got it all set up. Now let's send it to foil. You can see there it did a great job, foiled all right in there. None of our tape was in the way. So we're going to go ahead and carefully peel back the washi tape. You have to take your time with this because you do not want to rip your paper. So just take your time. The other thing is when you're pressing this washi tape on there, you just barely need it to stick. Don't need it to stick too much because you want to preserve that paper. Because if you start ripping and tearing your paper, then you're not going to want to use it. Like this corner here. There we go. Okay, so let's see what this looks like. and you can see it did a great job. Even on the foil, you can see all the way through it. It did a great job. Looks like I've got a little bit on the edge there to kind of brush out of the way, but the foil looks fantastic. So again, this was a pressure of 3, which I have found. This is Recollection 65-pound cardstock. That pressure of 3 has been more than enough to get a good foil. I haven't had any issues with pieces missing or skipping. Okay, we've got that all set up. Can you see how beautiful that turned out? So now that we've got the foiling done, let's go ahead and send it to cut. So we're going to cut the offset that was around it, the external offset, and then we'll be able to lift it up and see how it looks. Okay, so let's go ahead and check before we completely remove everything. And it cut through. So let's go ahead and eject. And then we can peel off our star. And there is our lovely foiled and cut star that we did in Silhouette Studio with our Cameo 5 and the new heat pen tool. So what are your first thoughts about the heat pen? Once you got it set up, it is super easy to use. I think it's probably even easier than using the foil quill because one, it tells you when it's ready and it's not a guessing game. So far, I've had all really smooth transfers of the foil, and using the fine point and the thicker point, I've had beautiful results. I love using it with the sketch tool, and it's just amazing. So let me know in the comments what you think about the heat foil, and what do you want to foil?